Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Bowl TV for continued coverage of the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. My name is Aaron Smith with USBC Communications and Bowl TV, and we are to the Cashers round. So 3 days of qualifying, 24 games for our 108-player field has now cut the field down to the top 36. After yesterday's roll-off, we did have a tie for that final spot. Spencer Robarge and Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson able to collect the victory, 241 to 206 to earn that final spot. Jacob Buttriff at the top of the leaderboard continues to dominate the U.S. Open. He has led after every round. Can he keep it going? Can he build another historic lead as we've seen him do at this tournament in the past? We have 36 players on the lanes. They're going to bowl 8 games on a brand new pattern. This is pattern number 4, 42 feet in length. So this is the pattern that will be used for the rest of the competition. Players also had the opportunity to change up their ball cards. So once again, still limited to 10 bowling balls, but the opportunity to potentially change a few looking ahead to this, knowing that those 3 patterns they bowled on earlier, all done for the week. We're going to go ahead and get to the lanes before we bring in the Bowl TV crew. So we're going to kick things off with Nick Pate, Chris Barnes, and Mikey Tang. So Mikey Tang, a little bit of excitement last night. He was bowling on the final squad. Some struggles in the final game. He was barely in the number. He needed to show up in the 9th and 10th frame and struck out throwing the last 4 to secure his spot and get to plus 267. So with that, we are in it. This is Cashers round. After this round, we're cutting another 12 players. We'll be down to the top 24. And from there, 24 games of round-robin match play. Bonus pins are going to be involved. When it's all said and done, by Saturday night, we will know our top 5 for the FS1 live stepladder finals on Sunday. That'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern. Yowza, U.S. Open, green jacket, all that good stuff coming to fruition. But the crazy part about all this, folks, we're not even halfway done with this event yet. They only have 24 games. The folks who advance past this round are going to bowl 56 games. So with that excitement, let's welcome in some of the Bowl TV team to join in the fun. I know they're excited as well. We'll start with a few folks on site in Reno. Jason Thomas. There he is, JT.
Good morning, Aaron Smith.
Good afternoon to you here.
Yeah, morning here. Just turned afternoon there, and I'm sure sunny Dallas, Texas.
It's actually a little cloudy today. A little cloudy, a little windy. That's nice. It's comfortable.
Nice. Well, there's no wind in here except for last night.
Woo.
Man, what an amazing night. And, you know, it was interesting. We talked to Nick Hoagland about the pattern last night on the show. He said, yeah, they probably scored a little higher than I expected. But I talked to some players this morning about, you know, why they thought there was such a big run of scoring last night. And basically they said, you know, the first crew came out in the morning, you know, players, and they've been pretty much shell-shocked, you know, the last 2 weeks here. You know, the Masters was brutal. The first 2 days here were pretty brutal, especially day 2. And so they were kind of not believing that they could be that aggressive. You know, they had a pretty good look, but nobody wanted to just go all out and be very aggressive. They felt like ball changes didn't have to happen as quickly, so they could kind of grind out a 2-0 and just move along. Whereas by the time we got to the last squad, everybody knew the secret that they were gettable, and everybody was super aggressive, and that's where the big scores came from last night. But new pattern today, like you mentioned. This one should be not quite as high scoring as the one we saw yesterday, but still gettable. And so the players that need to make a move to get into the top 24 today should have the opportunity to do so. And the players that are already in the cut have a chance to improve their positions. So should be an interesting last 32 games here at the U.S. Open. But like you said, there's still a long way to go in this tournament.
And speaking of the numbers, just 51 pins separating 36th place, which is Brian Robinson at plus 251, to 24th place, Chris Vi at plus 302. So plenty of opportunities for everybody to really shake it up, even going a little bit farther. Essentially 20th through 36 all within 100 pins of each other. So we can definitely see a lot moving and shaking. But the one consistent has been Jacob Buttriff at the top of the leaderboard. So we're going to bring in Matt Cannizzaro next from Texas to talk a little bit about Jacob's run so far this week. Matt, great to see you as always. Jacob is doing Jacob things at the U.S. Open. How's he feeling after another strong day?
He's feeling super confident, which rightfully so. He's led all 3 days of the U.S. Open, but amazingly, even though he led in 2017 and 18 by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pins, he did not lead at this point in the event. He did not lead after this round either. So to get 600 or 700 pins ahead like he did, that all happened in match play. Obviously, still a very long way to go in this event, 24 games after this round. That's where he made his move. So while he's in a similar position, it's different at the same time. So for him, as he said, he's going to look around just for a minute, see what the scoring pace looks like. But really, he's not worried about that. He's going to bowl his game. He had his practice sessions on this pattern. He's got some pins to work with here. He's going to go out there and bowl his game and see if he can, as they say, put the pedal down and just keep going to extend that lead and work his way into match play and see if he can get that number one spot again. Of course, that's the ultimate goal, because then you're only one win away from a U.S. Open title. Less things can happen at that point, and of course, the opportunity for some redemption in that moment too.
So, Matt, are you saying he's going to lead by 1,000 this year?
I'm saying he's motivated to do so. That's for sure.
Thanks,
and
Matt.
He's off to a pretty good start here. Spare four-bagger to get underway here today.
Our final guest joining this morning/afternoon, depending on where you're at. Inside Bowling's Mike Flanagan wants you to take the under, needs you to take the under. Everybody took the over. Hello, Michael. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I still can't believe we didn't have a 300 at all during qualifying yesterday with the scores like they were. Set that line at a half, and everybody bet the over. The house made a lot of money yesterday. So I got a few things for you here this morning, guys. I was looking over the standings. I did a deep dive, and when I walked in the building today, they asked me, have you seen Mikey Tang? I don't know if that means Mikey Tang was missing in action and showed up late. That's all I know. It's just that one piece of information. But I talked to Mikey last night, he and Chris By, as we were leaving the building, and Mikey looks really, really good. So he's kind of a guy that I expect to make it inside the top 24, make a run. He's 45 pins out in 32nd position right now. Another guy I got my eye on to watch in the standings today is Thomas Larson. Coming off the big win last week in this building. He's in 28th position. He's 14 pins out of the top 24. Looking to see if he can make match play here. I think that would be big for Thomas Larson, obviously. And the other story I have is right now, if you look at the leaderboard, the top four are all lefties. Jacob Buttriff, Matt Sanders, Anthony Nyer, Jesper Svensson. The one guy that really stands out to me there is Nyer. He's kind of the one that doesn't fit within the bunch. Everybody else is bowled on TV for a title on the Professional Bowler Store. Nyer has not. Will he be able to withstand match play? Will he be able to win those games against those threatening players on tour like Jason Belmonte and the intimidation factor? That will be very interesting. And Nyer is a guy who's also been known to get amped up and show his emotion on the lane. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we obviously know he's going to make it in the top 24. So who will be the great right hope? Will there be one right-hander on the show? Will there be four lefties on the show? Too early to tell, but two other left-handers that I'm also going to want to watch and see how they play the lanes today and where they go in the standings is Packy Hanrahan in 22nd and Matt Russo in 21st. Will we see those two left-handers rise in the standings and create more lefty dominance at the top of the leaderboard?
Hey, Mike, if I can just interject for a minute on the Anthony Nyer conversation. I will say that he probably has more TV experience than many of the players in the top 36. His is even international. He's bowled on TV in France. So he's been on the big stage. He's got the success at Junior Gold. He's already got a couple PBA regional titles. He's thrown the big shots for sure. Of course, a little different stage here, but I think he's as seasoned as you can be at 18 years old and ready to make a run and handles the different patterns very well. He's got some versatility. He can play left. He can play right? So we'll definitely see. I would put him up there as a definite contender for one of the top couple lefties of the week for sure.
Mike, an interesting point to you mentioned the top four, and we had Nick Hoagland on yesterday, and I believe today is Nick Hoagland's birthday, so happy birthday to Nick. So it's everybody's birthday this week.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It is.
But the one thing that Nick said to watch out for on this pattern was, you wanted to count how many lefties. I believe the number is 7. And he said the less lefties, the better for them. The top 4, with the way it worked out with pairings, each of them have 2 on the pair. So I'm going to be curious to see if that potentially slows them down a little bit in this situation, or if that ends up helping them and it just gets even crazier. But Nick said the less traffic, the better on the left side. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's certainly not slowing Jacob Buttriff down. He's got spare 6-bagger to start. He's not on one of our wired pairs. He's on 29 and 30, but man, he's off to a quick start already.
Aaron Smith, can you confirm that live scoring is not working?
I can confirm that we currently have no active games, which I know is a lie.
I'm on it.
Thanks, Mike.
There do appear to be a lot of strikes on the board up here early, Aaron Smith, and I would say that the difference between yesterday's pattern and today's pattern, in terms of how the players are playing them, is there's a lot more urethane going down the lane today than what we saw yesterday. Yesterday, there was only 3 players throwing urethane in the first squad, and by the end of the day, nobody was throwing urethane. They had all realized, you could get them with reactive and be very aggressive and maximize your carry percentage. Whereas today, there's a little bit of a speed bump on the pattern. You do have to play out. They are scoreable, but there's a lot more urethane out of the gate here on this pattern than what we saw yesterday.
A good observation and note to keep an eye on throughout the block. Of course, ultimately, that was the downfall of the early squad. And, some folks who walked away feeling they bowled well, feeling they were in the number. As that pattern changed, the ball reps got to see more, players got to see more, and saw that they could potentially have a different look, and scoring pace jumped immensely.
And Jacob, a couple of 9 spares in the 8th and 9th, so he'll be in the 250s with the double in the 10th. So nice start for him. Anthony Nyer has a nice game going. He had a little bit of a slow start with spare, open, spare, but now has put together a 4-bagger. Down on 33 and 34.
I do have some breaking information, gentlemen, in regards to Jesper Svensson. On his middle finger, he has a cut just below the knuckle, and that's not the area of concern, though. On his ring finger, he did something to injure that finger, and it's black and blue down into his palm, and it's causing quite a bit of pain at point of release. Tim Mack said it was okay to report that here. So Jesper Svensson a little banged up out there, and we'll have to deal with that for the remainder of this event.
Jesper starting the day off tied for third plus 510. Was the runner-up last week at the Masters. Excellent note, Michael.
You know, the other thing, just as a fan of bowling, if I wasn't here calling the action and I was just at home in my office, working my day job, watching bowling, listening to you wonderful people, the thing that I would be watching right now is who can hit this pattern. Who are the top 5 or 6 scores on this pattern after the first 3 games? Who bowls 750? Who bowls 700? Who bowls 800? And I start to make my list. And then I see as they transition, what's their next 3 game set? And then how do they finish their last 2 games? Because now it's rinse and repeat for the rest of the tournament on this pattern. And those are the guys that you can start to kind of say, hey, this guy's got this pattern figured out. This guy's gone through this. He's got confidence. This is somebody that if they are in 22nd position going into match play, to get to the show, they have to move up 17 positions. So can they move up 6 positions around to get to the show? So if you're at home and you're wanting to analyze this stuff like we are, like the nerds that we are, that's what you want to look at in the standings. And you can find all that information over at bowl.com.
What do you think we are, nerds?
I know.
That was a nice tie-in to last night. You know, if anybody actually watched every hour of all of this footage, there's so many inside jokes and stuff. We're like a morning show now. You know,
Yes.
You got to listen for a while, and you'll get the little jokes. So those of you that have put in tons of hours of watching this, thanks. You'll get a little extra humor out of it. Those of you that watch whenever you can because you actually have lives, and you have jobs, and you have children, and you have wives, and you have husbands and significant others, completely get it that you can just pop in once in a while. We're happy that you're here too.
Well, I almost went when you did the Jesper Svensson update with his cut. I almost rolled out the old. He's cut. The Swede is cut, and now it's the right-handers coming after the Swede. Just to insert.
That's right. That's right.
Just to tweak up the little.
And then, yep.
Russian /
Yeah, in between the matches, you know, when Tim Mack goes over there and the other ball reps are talking to their players, the other ball reps are like, you see, he's not a machine. He's a man.
Perfect.
I think we need to also take a minute right now, everybody, and just talk about how steady and professional Aaron Smith has been through these 2 events. He's only got a couple more days to become unprofessional, but I think he's going to make it. If I had to set an over-under on whether or not Aaron Smith is going to become unprofessional sometime in the next couple of days, the chance of that is 0. There is no line. You've done an excellent job, Aaron, carrying this broadcast, being our steady hand, and it's just been enjoyable. So if I forget to say it later, I'm saying it now. Everybody, we are so blessed to have Aaron Smith on these airwaves and driving the ship for us. It's been cool. It's been cool to be a part of.
Thank you very much, Michael. I appreciate that. And here I was getting ready to say something inappropriate, and you just set me up to not do it.
Well, we're watching Chris Barnes here. Nice start for him, 237, just to the right of Barnes on 49 and 50. Sean Rash getting out of the gate big time with the possible 279 with 2 more strikes. And he was one of the players who needed to make a run today. He was outside the top 24 looking in, and now we'll be in the top 24 after 1 game here today. Tim Foy also shooting a big game. He's got a possible 280 with 2 more strikes in the 10th. So he was already plus 391. So he's going to be jumping his way up the leaderboard.
If Tim Foy makes the show, he will win. It just means that's his week. Led the PTQ. He's had the front 9 like 20 times, and I black clouded him every time. But He's sometimes you look and go, oh, it's his week. Tom Hess with the Masters, that was his week. This could be Tim Foy's week. I mean, he's just demonstrated day after day after day that he can play with the best of them in the world.
Mike, to take a tangent off that as we finish game one here, 237 for Barnes, Pate 215, and a chance to get 200 even for Mikey Tang. We've been in, or I should say not me, you and JT and these players have been in Reno for essentially 2 weeks now. And we're going to look back at these two events, and at the end of the day, there's going to be a champion at the Masters and a champion at the U.S. Open. But who are the MVPs of this week? Who's winning the overall awards? When you mentioned Tim Foy, we talked about his great run at the Masters. Is this the stepping stone week or 2 weeks for Tim to move to that next stage of his career? I feel we need awards for this 2 week span of craziness on the PBA Tour, at the Masters, and at the U.S. Open to kind of bring it all together.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I was looking away for a minute there, but I thought Aaron Smith was the MVP. I thought it was already decided and handed out.
I was not in town, so it's not official.
All I was trying to do there, Matt, was make sure you or I didn't have to do it in the future.
No, I totally agree 100% with everything you said. But, and I told Aaron Smith that multiple times as he said goodbye in the evening and went to get his rest for chronicling the events via broadcast each day. So I certainly don't want any part of that, and I know that you have your pleasures and strengths as well, and producing the show probably isn't on that list. So Aaron's our guy, and he loves it. I know he does. And there he is, right there. And you can't see it. There was tears in his eyes a few minutes ago of gratitude, but all true. And it's again, that's what being a team's all about, right?
Absolutely. It's been a great week. Let's continue it around. Mike mentioned it the other night. He is an independent contractor, so we only have select opportunities to work with Mike. I sit right next to Matt here, not just on the screen or that way, but here at the campus, our desks are right next to each other. So we get to work with each other quite a bit. Mike is someone we talk to, someone we know from the industry, but not necessarily someone we get to spend a week or two like this with. So we got the opportunity at the Kickoff Classic Series, now here at the Masters and U.S. Open. It's been very rewarding. It adds a brand new dynamic to all this as well. So big thanks to Mike for joining the team and making this a big moment for all of us.
All right, well, back to the real question, the bowling MVP, right? Obviously, without them, this all wouldn't be possible. It would just be the three of us talking to each other for 17 hours a day. So back to your question, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, I think we're still a day or two away from determining it, but I think it's going to be something we'll be looking at in the near future.
I do really like that question. The MVPs of the 2 week, the all tournament team for two events that we've been making stuff up with all these little games and all these thoughts and stuff like that. But yeah, Tim Foy Jr. definitely would make the all tournament team. But it is a little too early to tell.
Can we make that a vote or a chat or a poll or do something along the way here as the week concludes? I think that would be a pretty cool thing. Kind of the unofficial Bowl TV player of the whatever, the series, the visit, stop, whatever. I think that would be pretty cool stuff, and let the fans vote. Who's the top tier?
Maybe we'll do MVP and 4 honorable mentions.
Is this going to turn into like Thanksgiving football, where someone would get the turkey award and get the big turkey leg to chew on for a little bit at the end of the broadcast? I don't know what the Reno equivalent and the National Bowling Stadium equivalent would be, but this is all coming together so nicely. And because Tim Foy made it happen, we're going to watch it this game. Along with Nathan Boring, Christian Ascona. Let's bring JT back into this conversation as well for a quick second.
Yeah, if we were at the plaza, we could do the beer-soaked hot dog.
I'm hungry now. But JT, yeah, we got off onto a tangent and attempting to figure out who's going to be the MVP of these 2 weeks in Reno, the award winners.
I vote for Chris Barnes just because he's looking at me right now.
Of course you do.
The Chris Barnes love is out of control this week for JT.
You can just name the award, the Chris Barnes MVP of Reno award. No matter what, he's a part of it.
Chris was lamenting to me the reason why so many players are using urethane. He doesn't believe it's really necessary, and I think he's not thrilled that a lot of righties are throwing it and are going to chop up the lanes for the rest of the righties, especially when there's a lot of ground to make up on some lefties today. So just an interesting little observation there by Mr. Barnes. Something to look for as the block wears on.
I believe there's a right-hander or two in the field who generally aren't a fan of urethane in general. So that's Barnes probably not the only one who's bummed by this current trend.
Barnes said, just reverse loft gutter cap. I mean, Sean Rash, we didn't show him very much. If I'm not sure if we showed him at all, but he's just piping it up the edge with reactive, throwing it hard, and I mean he's going to make them easier for all the other righties by where he's playing. And by the way, he shot 270 the first game. So I think what Mr. Barnes is saying is, if us righties want to have a chance here, we need to work together on making this pattern a little easier for ourselves.
I was also talking to Tim Mack, and he thinks Jacob Buttriff's gonna lead the tournament by 300 pins over everybody else.
By the end of this squad or the whole tournament?
The whole tournament.
Okay.
He also believes that Kim Bolaby has over a 50% chance of making the TV show, which is a pretty bold prediction, but he says he's got the best look in the building. And then he also thinks Packy can make an incredible run. And he also feels like Matt Russo could make a big run. So
what he's saying is he likes the left side.
Yeah, so those three lefties were all outside. Well, not all. Russo and Packy were just inside the number. But, that really begs the question. Will Packy, will Matt Russo, and will Kim Bolaby, make it inside the top 24, and will we have more left-handed traffic on the left side of the lane, as Nick Hoagland talked about, to keep an eye on this pattern? So that's the real question at stake right now, I think.
Yeah, it's a great point. If they all make it, then they are going to be dealing with each other's traffic with even fewer players in the field, because we're going to lose 12 players after this 8 games.
And judging by what you said, Jason Thomas, it sounds like the right-handers are being idiots throwing urethane when you don't need to. So that just gives it more reason for the lefties to go up. And I don't sincerely mean that the right-handers are idiots. That's not what I mean. But you already expressed a concern from one of the players who's been bowling incredibly well that it's just not necessary, and it could screw up how the lanes transition in a negative way for the right-handed player.
Yeah, and really what it does is, what's interesting is the players that are throwing reactive, you've got Nick Tate, Chris Barnes, Sean Rash, Sam Cooley. They're playing further to the right. And then you've got other players with urethane actually playing left of that. So they're going to get very, very cliffed on the right side because, the righties with reactive are burning up spots to the outside, whereas the righties with urethane are dragging oil down left of that. So they're going to get very cliffed, and I would look for much straighter angles as the block wears on, assuming you can stay out there. And think Eugene McCune cheetah pattern. Just as soon as they start to hook, he doesn't move. He just throws it harder. So I would expect to see Barnes and Rash and some of those guys who are playing to the right to try to stay out there as long as they can, maybe with different ball choices or speed adjustments so they can keep their angles very straight.
The folks in the Bull TV audience, 55% say yes. Kim Bowlby, Matt Russo, and Packy Hanrahan will advance to the top 24.
Only 55%.
That's Tim Mack you're betting against, folks.
I'll tell you, last night or yesterday, I would say, was probably the furthest Mike Flanagan and I have ever been off in guessing a cut number.
Well, to be fair for you guys, I think everybody in the world was off by quite a bit.
I agree. But, man, we were off by like 120 pins. That's pretty. It's not even close.
Yeah, in that morning squad, we were plus 90 going in, and I said, hey, you do the math. You got to add 45, right? I know it's different patterns every day, and anything can happen, and it's not really the right way to go about it. Because every day is a different challenge, and and JT said, "Yep, that's a good number, 135." And then Tim Mack comes up and goes, "I think it doubles." In game 2, he said, "I think it doubles. I think it gets to 180." We're like, "Whoa!" Tim Mack thinks it's going to get to 180. Okay, let's have another one, Tim.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then it tripled.
Yeah,
almost. It almost tripled. It went from 90 to 251. So that's almost triple. I've never seen a number do that.
Which, by the way, I want to say something about the comment I just made, just to be clear. I've never seen Tim Mack ever have an alcoholic beverage. I don't believe the man has had an alcoholic drink in 25 years. So when I said have another, that was just an expression. I just don't want anybody out there to think that I'm making any assumptions about Tim Mack. He is the he never has a drink. He just doesn't need it, doesn't like it, doesn't drink. Little fun fact about Timmy. It's amazing he has that much energy and can ring the bell every day without every once in a while taking a break and being able to veg out with a couple of beers, but he just doesn't do it.
Well, speaking of Tim's predictions, Kim Bowlby with the front 6 here on 43 and 44, one of our pairs that we don't have because of just a stairwell that's preventing us from covering that pair. But he's got the front 6 bowling with Jason Belmonte and Michael Davidson. Belmo having a bit of a tough time. He's actually one of those players that is throwing urethane to the left, and his ball reaction's starting to get a little squirrely.
How about that roll-off last night, guys? Brian Robinson. I listened to that interview back when I got back to the hotel room. Boy, that young man was excited.
A player I've seen have some success here at a couple of events, but someone I've never had the opportunity to chat with before. Quite personable as well. I enjoyed how he embraced the face of the brand conversation with Stu and Chris Barnes in the chat as well. A lot of good times, and it's obviously Spencer, the young talent, the 3rd place finish at the Masters. That was a rough way for him to end his week. The 6 count on the fill ball and then to lose the roll off. But excited to see what Brian can can do with this opportunity now that he has it. It almost wasn't there.
Yeah, what I found cool is, we talked about the other day about how many nice people and how many people you root for out here that are just good human beings. Stu said last night from my fantasy team, he said, I'm rooting for Spencer, but as far as just being a good guy, it's hard not to root for B-Rob. Thomas Larson this morning. This game here, he's got himself a string of strikes. Whenever you open, you need to throw a double. Well, Thomas Larson says, no, not me. When I open, I throw 7 in a row to make up for it. That's what he's done so far here in game number 2. Hey, good news. Standings are up after 25 games here over at Bowl.com. Best in the business taking care of it. Looks like the number now is plus 302, Chris Vi. Danielle McEwen is 1 pen back. Tony Sambueno is 1 behind Danielle, 4 behind Toby. Yeah.
Can I that was actually after we had a quick issue with the plus minus.
Oh, we did.
It stayed the same, actually. So I just refreshed, and I did get a new set of numbers. So. Oh,
okay. Well, I'll let you take us through that then, since you're in touch with this a little bit better than I am.
Plus 344 at the number now. Zeke Bate continues his way up, but just 1 pin ahead of Packy Hanrahan at plus 343. Sean Rash plus 345. Danielle McCune plus 360. So certainly a lot of moving around here. Martin Larson is in 36th place now, plus 240, but still only 100 pins back of the cut. At the top of the leaderboard, Buttriff plus 716. Anthony Nyer moves into second plus 533. Jesper Svensson plus 525. Matt Sanders plus 500. Zach Tackett plus 494. Sam Cooley plus 490. Michael Davidson plus 469. Tim Foy with 269 that game plus 460. Chris Barnes plus 454. And Belmo, the defending champ, in 10th at plus 448.
My numbers are now correct on my screen as well. Zeke Easy at that 344 number right now. Danielle jumps in with 259 the first game. How about 4 lefties and Danielle McEwen on the show? How about that?
Well, that would be fantastic. Because Danielle McEwen is a star on the PWBA Tour, and the PWBA Tour is coming back in just a couple weeks. The second swing of the 2021 season will be here before you know it, and right here on BullTV.com. April 22nd to the 24th. Twin Cities Open.
Yeah, look, everybody, with the PWBA Tour expanding the events and increasing some prize funds for the ladies by not being on national television, making some decisions that are in the best interest of the ladies out there trying to make a living. There's no excuse not to have Bull TV, because that's where those stepladder finals are going to be. Is that $49.95 promo still available, or do we shut that thing down?
It's available through Saturday. So once we get to Sunday, opportunities actually probably potentially late Saturday night. So that $49.95 deal still available.
Yeah, last I heard, we had a bunch of people take advantage of that. I can't believe they went that low with it, honestly. I'm an independent contractor, folks, to give you that for $49.95. I don't know if I'd have personally done that, but take advantage of it. I still like going a nickel a game. I like the nickel a game model.
Hey, guys, just a report on the left side here. We talked about the top four being paired together, Buttriff and Sanders, and then Nair and Svensson. The high game at the moment between those four, 196 for game 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of chatter here all week and this morning, especially last night, about the lefties. But I've bowled a lot of tournaments where the left side had an advantage, and you didn't see righties shooting 260s and 270s all over the place like we're seeing. I mean, this could flip pretty quickly, and especially like Nick said, if you get a couple more lefties in that top 24, with some extra traffic. I mean, there could be a scenario where you're seeing one lefty on the show, or and 4 righties. So it's there's still a long way to go, a lot of tournament left, and we're going to be bowling on this pattern, and the righties are going to figure out the best way to break the pattern down for their side. And I think it could very easily turn the other direction.
Some big scores out there for game 2. Packy, 278 to get to 507 for 2. Thomas Larson, 268. Mitch Hoope, he's had a real nice week here at the U.S. Open. We haven't talked about him too much, but he's been cruising along. 247 that game. Chris Vi, 234. Kim Bowlby went 246 that game. Mikey Tang can get to 249. Nick Payton, the 240s, 244. Sean Rash can get to 259.
Yeah, Rash actually has 259 still. So he'd be off to a gigantic start with a couple more strikes.
Keep in mind, too, everybody, if you didn't know, Rash pulled out of the Masters after a game. Was dealing with some food poisoning, wasn't feeling well. There was speculation that he was being very safe. When you're not feeling well, you immediately think the default button is COVID. Didn't want to infect any other players. If that was the case, ended up being food poisoning. Got some extra rest. And as we go down the stretch after all these games being bowled, especially when we talk about guys like being the MVP, who made a deep run at the Masters, bowled a lot of games, and now who can make a deep run here, will fatigue set in? And Rash is going to be one of the freshest players out there in match play by not bowling as much last week.
Jacob just went 9 out in the 9th and 10th for 161. So taking a big step back here in game number 2. Matt Sanders, 169.
This might be the most unpredictable bowling tournament I've ever been around.
Yeah. Yeah, considering how much we missed the cut number by yesterday, yeah, I would tend to agree with you.
And with the scores yesterday, to not have a 300, that's unbelievable. And then all morning, all we did was talk about how the lefties, could there be 5? And then we just watched all the leaders bowl 160.
That's why they make us bowl all 56 games here at the U.S. Open. A lot of things can happen.
And folks, once again, this is day 4, and we're not even halfway through this thing. We will be in a couple games, but not quite yet. Our first round robin match play round tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, top 24. Then we'll be back at the same times tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Eastern, to determine the top 5. 245 for Ascona. He gets the 478 over, which ironically is the same number Tim Foy Jr. is going to be at after 218. Symmetry. Even though the pattern is asymmetric.
I don't know what this means. But Tim Mack has got this napkin he keeps writing all these notes on and handing them to me. And this one says Barnes, sentimental run. What does that mean?
I like it though. That's actually.
I mean, Barnes isn't very sentimental about it. I mean, he's pretty dead serious about this event and doing well in it.
Mike, I actually think it's the beginning of a haiku, so he's just going to bring additional lines. All right, game 3 going to be coming up next here, folks, on BowlTV.com. Mike, who are you feeling here?
Rash has got to be the hottest bowler in the building right now, 57 and 58.
57 and 58, all right.
He's got a chance at 800.
We like 800s. Yes, we do. We like 800s. How about you? All right, we'll throw the Bowl TV schedule up there for a second as we prepare to head over to 57 and 58.
Hey, folks, don't forget, we've got more action coming up for you later tonight. 8 o'clock Eastern, we've got the first round of match play here on Bowl TV. And don't forget to join us tomorrow for rounds 2 and 3 of match play at 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern.
We'll be moving to that pair momentarily, folks.
Sean Rash this game, over or under 237.
Rash going to be joined by Perry Crowell the fourth. Perry's actually had some struggles here in the first 2 games, so we'll see if he can get it going. Here in game 3, Sean Lavery Spar plus 412. Perry at plus 385. Rash at plus 379.
Matt Canizero, this is Mike Flanagan up in the Silver Legacy Tower. You got a copy?
Go for Matt.
Yeah, Matt, you got a real nice computer set up there. You got a really nice office. You've been joining us all week. I was wondering if you could give us a little insight on something, and if you don't know the answer, look it up for us.
Let me have it, sir. What do you got?
Oldest U.S. Open champion. Is it Weber at 49?
You are making what's the deep dive? We're all scuba divers this week, right? I don't have my my wetsuit, but I'll take a look. The unfortunate part about the U.S. Open for us, Mike, is that we didn't have anything to do with it really until about 2014, 15, somewhere in there, right? After it returned. So I'm going to find this for you, though, because that's what I do. I'm determined. But record-wise, we're struggling a little bit on this week, just to be totally transparent.
Yeah, so I believe it is Weber at 49. And Tim Mack has scribbled down the sentimental reasoning here is if Barnes could win the U.S. Open at 51, he believes it would be the oldest winner of the U.S. Open at age 51. So...
For these competitors, for 2 games, Perry Crowell 372, Rash at 510, and Lavery Spar at 402.
So Mike Flanagan, in my initial search here, and again, I wouldn't call at this point Wikipedia the most reliable source in the world, but according to Wikipedia so far, Andy Verapapa is notable for winning back-to-back BPA All-Stars in 1947 and 1948, the second coming at age 57. So, 1, it's Wikipedia. 2, I'll keep going. And 3, technically, while it later became the U.S. Open, it was not the U.S. Open at the time. So that's a technicality, a formality. I'll let you guys discuss that while I keep searching.
We got a few folks in the Bowl TV chat echoing Verapapa.
I was going to mention the same thing. I think I actually mentioned it on the air the other day. But yeah, I mean, Matt has a point. It used to be the All-Star, but I would still consider that to be the record.
Well, when you look at the list of champions, I believe we have it on site at the NBS. The past winners, BPAA All-Star included. So I would say yes to that. The storied history of the U.S. Open. Speaking of Barnes, front 4 after 464 for his first 2.
Barnes continuing to strike. He's got the front 5 this game. Sam Cooley with the front 5. Zach Tackett with the front 4. Zeke Bate with the front 4. Sterner with the front 4. I didn't name any lefties in that group.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do they all have in common?
Taking a look at live scoring, Packy made the jump after shooting 278 to the pairs that the top 4 were at, and not having too much fun so far through the first 5. But looks like Butchoff, Sanders, Nair, and Svensson turned it around after a rough game 2.
You know, Jacob really had a couple of unforced errors. I think he missed 2 single pins to end the game, and he missed another makeable earlier in the game. And you know, that could be something to look out for if his spare shooting's not sharp. And this pattern forces him to have to shoot spares because he's throwing urethane, and his angles aren't as good as they have been all week. You know, that could play a factor, and you could even see, you know, him potentially falling back and missing the show. I mean, that's the thing about a 56 game format. Even if you're ahead by 200 pins going into match play, you are not locked on the show. I mean, that can go away very, very quickly.
Sean Rash is struggling on this right lane. Missing the head pin on the last shot. Guys, I'm going to jump out for a minute and grab my camera, and gonna crunch some numbers on a couple other things for you, and I hope to be back soon with some more information from the field for you guys.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Game 3 of 8. Here in the Cashers round, the top 36 at the 2021 U.S. Open from the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada. After this round, one additional cut will take place, and the top 24 for total pinfall for 32 games will advance to round-robin match play to begin their quest toward the top 5 for Sunday's FS1 broadcast, 2 p.m. Eastern.
A couple guys working on front 6. So we'll switch over there. Sam Cooley shot 1,100 for his opening 4 games last night, and had a fantastic Masters. Just narrowly missed the show. Basically one strike away from making that show. Won his first title on tour just a few weeks back, and now front 7 here in game number 3. Zach Tackett looking for the front 7 as well. He's in great shape, plus 521. Ten back. So 2 players here with the front 7. Jason Sterner up on lane 65 and 66 also has the front 7. And he was one of the players that a lot of the other finalists thought might do well today, based on what they saw on the practice session last night. A player who likes to play straighter angles, can stay right longer than anybody else, which would also make Thomas Larson a good bet to do well, and especially as well as he's been bowling. So Sam Cooley getting up here in the 8th. 7 in a row so far. He is just leaning on it right now, just hitting it with everything he's got. Keep it in front of him and shredding for rack.
Nick had talked about it yesterday. Now that these pins are essentially 2 weeks old now, he said this might be prime time for pin carry. They were certainly stingy during the Masters, but hard to see pins move around the pin decks at the NBS.
Yeah, and also the outside angles, that's going to help. Plus the players are starting to get really aggressive because they're able to see a little bit of room, and they can really start leaning into it with speed and rev and angle, and that's when you start to really see pins fly. Zach Tackett not quite able to messenger out the 10 pin, so his run comes to an end, but still a possible 279 if he can spare this 10 pin, which he does.
After Sam's 9th frame here, we'll give you a score update after 20. That's 9, everybody. Take a quick look over at Jason Sterner's pair as well. He's got the front 8 getting ready for 9 here. Buttroff continues to lead, plus 677. Jesper Svensson and Zach Tackett tied for second, plus 521. Sam Cooley and Anthony Nyer tied for fourth, plus 515. Your top 5. The cut number at the moment, a tie. Chris Vi and Matt Russo tied for 23rd at plus 364. So who's going to step up here first, JT? It looks eerily close.
Sterner will go first. You're good, buddy. Remember, I'm 1 minute into the future.
How are things in the future?
They're very similar to the past.
Front 9, there we go. Sam Cooley looking for 10. We got 10. We got 10, everybody.
Throwing pins all over the deck.
Remember that time yesterday when he shot 1,100 for 4 games and averaged 275?
Without a 300 game?
Without a 300 game. But an 821 series, that was cool. I enjoyed that. He had a pair of front 9. He shot 1,100 with an open in the 10th frame. If he gets this second one, he's north of plus 600.
Well, he already is, assuming he gets a good count. He'll be in the 280s. Oh my. Well,
you are correct there, JP.
Nick Flanagan's still undefeated.
289 with the spare. Sterner is getting ready to step up. Let's head over there. Da, da, da.
Nick Flanagan's down there.
We're going to get one, folks. It's going to happen.
Well, just quick score rundown. Chris Barnes, another good game, 231 for him. Nick Pate, 223. Michael Tang, 233.
Hey guys, just real quickly because I got something else I got to do, but just want to tell you the exchanges that took place during those 300 runs. First one was over here, Sam Cooley. Richie Teese comes running over from a couple pairs away, bumps into me and says, "Hey, just so you know, Mike, I'm watching this ball go through the pins. There's no chance for a black cloud on this one." So he goes up and he throws the first one, pures at strike. I'm like, oh, we're probably going to get one here. I get to put out a highlight of a 300 game for a change. Lucas comes running down for the second shot. So now he's got 2 cameras on him, 2 black clouds. Boom. That's solid 9. I mean, he couldn't have thrown it any better. So then I go running down to Sterner, and I beat Lucas in the race, by the way, because I'm just a little bit faster than him. And we go down there, and he almost 4 9s. And then Mitch Hoope walks by me and goes, "Good job, Mike. Good job."
So technically for Sam, I don't know if it's Richie's fault for saying he couldn't be black clouded, or
Lucas.
Are we blaming Lucas here?
I get nothing on that one.
I absolve you from any clouding on Sam Cooley.
I'm working on something else. I'll be back in a little bit.
All right, Mike. Sterner does finish with 279. Bill O'Neill, 239. So taking a look at some other scores around the house. Zeke Bate, 258. Mitch Hoope, 266. Thomas Larson, 237. A.J. Johnson, 270. Jacob Buttriff, 215. Matt Sanders, 238. Anthony Nyer, 248. Jesper Svensson, 211. Cooley did finish with 289. He made the spare. All right. Game 3 in the books, getting ready for 4. Couple of pairs still finishing up. Look like 211 for Perry Crowell that game. Sean Lavery Spar, 237. Some struggles from Sean Rash. He can only get to 188. We started that game watching that pair. Christian Ascona, 224. Tim Foy, 213. Nathan Bohr can get to 196. Well, folks, as we patiently wait for the next game to get going, once again, $49.95 special limited time offer for Bowl TV for an annual subscription this week only. Take a look at our promo, see all that Bowl TV has.
Players, that concludes game.
All right, going to start game 4. This is technically the halfway point. Game 28 of the U.S. Open. 56-game pinfall totals plus bonus pins and round-robin match play will determine our 5 finalists for Sunday's FS1 broadcast, 2 p.m. Eastern from the NBS in Reno. Take a look at Michael Davidson, Kim Bowlby, and Jason Belmonte, the defending champion here. Davidson at plus 516. Bowlby at plus 295, and Belmo looks like 462 over.
All right, guys, I did a little number crunching through 2 games. This lefty versus righty debate that we all like to talk about. So through 2 games, Jacob, Jesper, Nair, Sanders, Packy, Russo, Bowlby, the lefties. Plus 171 as a group. You times that by 4, that gets you 684 over for the lefties if it were to continue at this pace, which is plus 85 a man. I took the top 7 right-handed bowlers and figured it out per man, plus 320 a man after the 2-game scoring pace. So that's how much things could change. Plus 85 a man to plus 320 a man if you times it by 4 and get it out over this entire block. Right-handed scoring pace versus left-handed scoring pace through 2 games. I realize we're in game number 4 now, and some things kind of changed after game 3, but that just gives you a little perspective on exactly what Jason Thomas said earlier, which is how quickly things can change.
Yeah, and my guess is if you factored in what happened last game, it would be even more skewed toward the righties. But who knows? It could flip right back the other direction. The rest of the block. It's just been, like you said, Mike. It's been an unpredictable week.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the lefty scores, Jacob threw 2 408, Jesper 411, Nair 405, Sanders 357, Russo 425, and then Bowlby 458, and then the anomaly, Packy at 507.
I guess the bottom line is we're just going to have to watch and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly, and not talk much. Just report on what's going in front instead of trying to figure out what's going to happen, because we've been close to awful on that all the way back to our fantasy picks, which Stu Williams, I believe, is going to run away with.
Note on Packy, he did shoot 182 that next game, or game 3.
At what point today, Mike, should we do a fantasy update?
I think I'm good. I think we'll just go ahead and roll that over into PWBA or something.
We'll give the day 2 results or day 3 results at the first PWBA stop.
Yeah, I got a Zoom call scheduled with Norm Duke. We're going to talk about what happened at this event.
Post-mortem. I didn't look too deeply at it, but I know you mentioned Stu, but I feel like there's a chance that mathematically I've already won this thing. Because my lowest guy was Brad Miller at plus 205. So I've got a lot of dead numbers that aren't going lower. And I think I have the same number of players in the finals as Stu.
Yeah, is Stu the alternate, by the way?
No, that would be Spencer.
Yeah.
But there really isn't an alternate for this round.
Right. Right. That's true. It would be for the next round.
Correct.
Well, Stu's here. He's in the building. I saw him. I don't know if he was dropping something off or if he had something going on.
It's possible that if somebody had dropped out, I don't know if that is the rule. If somebody were to have dropped out this morning, if Stu would have been allowed to bowl, I don't believe so.
Anthony Nyer and Ken Bolaby have not missed yet. Nyer through 5, Bolaby through 4. Chris Vi has not missed yet. He's got the front 4. I got 2 notes on Vi. Number 1, I think if I had to give the jersey award, who's got the coolest, sleekest looking jersey design, I like Chris Vi's jerseys. They just kind of, I wouldn't mind wearing them out in public. Most jerseys I want to change before I go to dinner. But if it didn't have my name on the back, I actually think I'd feel comfortable wearing a Chris Vi jersey, out on the town, so to speak. Second Vi update that I have, or nugget for you, as I mentioned, I was talking to Mikey Tang leaving the building last night, and Vi was right next to him. So all 3 of us are kind of walking, side by side. You know how guys like to walk together in a pack like that. Well, we were some handsome guys walking, and Mikey, I said, "Hey, Mikey, great bowling, And he's like, "Yeah, hey, thanks, whatever." And then Vi looks right at me and goes, "Yeah, thanks, Mike." And I said, "Chris, you should take this as a huge compliment. But the way you've been bowling on tour, it's expected." Mikey looks at me and says, am I supposed to take offense to that? Because you called me out on how great I bowled, like it was, something out of the ordinary. But it was a fun conversation, and Chris says, "Well, thanks, Mike. I'm throwing it really good right now, and I'm kind of just taking it all in and enjoying the moment." So, Chris Vi with the front 5. Now, Packy's got a little strut to him today too, more so than normal. Kind of watching his body language this game. Got the front 4 and then goes 7 spare and a strike up in the 6th. He's paired up with Danielle and Vi. I like to read body language a lot. I like watching hockey live instead of on TV because they don't ever have it panned on the whole ice. So if there's a defenseman that whacks a guy in the shin and you don't see it, those sorts of things help develop the storyline for the game. And being on site here, what I like to try to do is I like to tell people kind of what I'm seeing that you can't see on the camera. And, a guy that's pretty fired up after watching him the last couple of days is AJ Johnson. he's been inside that number, and then scores go flying up, and he bowls like 2-0, and you can just see the frustration set in. And we saw frustration at the end of the Masters when he lost to Barnes. He was really upset about that loss. And he's just had this volcano just boiling and boiling and boiling, just waiting to erupt. So I would say if A.J. Johnson does indeed make our top 24, he's going to be somebody that you're going to want to bring up an extra browser and watch him through match play. And then if for some reason the stars align and it's his week, and he wins, that's a guy I would expect to cry on television with so much emotion being built up, just trying to hold it back, We
have a score update after game number 3. Jacob Buttroff continues to lead plus 692, but Sam Cooley with that 289 has moved within 100.
Oh, look at that.
So the good friends, I believe roommates potentially this week. Buttroff and Cooley 1-2 plus 692 for Jacob, plus
Sam
604
Cooley is
for
chopping the Buttroff down.
That he is. 740 for his first 3 to move into second. Zach Tackett in third plus 588. Anthony Nyer plus 563. Mitch Hoope 758 for his first 3 games today. He's at plus 533 in the top 5. Jesper Svensson drops to 6th place plus 532. Michael Davidson plus 516. Chris Barnes plus 512. Matt Sanders down to plus 507. And Christian Ascona rounds out the top 10 plus 502. The number, Chris Vi plus 375. First player out at the moment, Danielle McCune plus 370.
That was a nasty 7-pin there for Nyer. Moved it off spot, tipped it over 2 different directions, and somehow it stayed up. I couldn't contain myself, Aaron, while you were reading off those scores. It was just too much.
No worries. Not a worry at all.
Aaron, you mentioned Cooley. What he did yesterday was incredible. I interviewed him last night after his block, and I learned something that I should have known. Matt Cannizzaro knew about this, but I didn't know this, and I'd like to share it now with our audience, because I bet a lot of people didn't know it like I did, or that I found out last night. Sam Cooley last year, I noticed he didn't bowl quite a few events on the second half of the season on the PBA Tour. And the reason being is his mother called him and let him know that she had 6 weeks to live, diagnosed with cancer, a pretty severe case of cancer. And he immediately stopped bowling, got a flight home, and was able to spend the last 6 weeks of his mother's life with her. And he said that it's given him a lot of time to reflect. And then with COVID coming out also, and all of the travel restrictions and the 2-week quarantine in Australia to be able to even get back home, he says it's been a mental grind for him, very emotional roller coaster. But 2 positive bright spots for him. Number 1 is what you said, Aaron, his great relationship with Jacob Buttroff, and he's been over here stateside now for quite a while, and he's been staying with Buttroff. And yes, rooming with Buttroff. And how cool is that these guys, see the reference I put in there, cool? How cool is that 1, 2 are those 2 guys? That's awesome. And the other thing that he told me is he's been working with Dr. Dean Heinz quite a bit on the mental game. And he says that's helped him a lot as well. So it continues this morning here on pattern number 4 for Sam Cooley. You kind of root for a guy like that, and I guess to put the cherry on top, he was able to get that first win, get that monkey off his back at the PBA Cheetah Championship, and dedicated that win to his mom.
We have talked about Michael Davidson, throughout this week and last week as well, but he's kind of, in my opinion, been a little under the radar. And if he shoots 270 here and goes off the sheet, he'll get almost to 600 over, which will put him right there among the leaders. So somebody that somehow has just kind of gone a little bit under the radar is just right there now.
That hit will get him into the 270s. Davidson made his PBA Tour TV debut a little bit earlier this year in one of the regional finals at the Players Championship. Collegiate standout at Calumet College over in Whiting, Indiana. How about that? But from Ohio is where Michael is from.
He's also the son of one of bowling's entrepreneurs, Doug Davidson. So a bowling family there, dedicated to the sport of bowling.
Cooley slowing down after the front 10 last game. Can max out at 217. Zach Tackett has also been in the top 5 throughout the course of most of the week here. Gotta give a few pins back. His max 192. So potential for a little shakeup in the top 5. Buttriff 225 this game. Check out the final shots here for Svensson and Arturo Quintero. Anthony Nair finishes with 264, so he's going to get north of plus 600 here in Game 4.
Packy bowls 257. Moves him up to plus 460. Vi bowls 235, puts him at plus 410. Danielle McEwen also on that pair. The best she can bowl this game is 152.
Take a look at 39 and 40. Matt Russo, Zeke Bate, Toby Sambueno. 9th and 10th frames to go here. Zeke and Toby both making nice runs at the Masters as well. Advancing to bracket, winning a couple matches along the way. Zeke had a huge day yesterday. Started off minus. Went 323 over. To advance here today.
Aaron, I'd like to call out the next pair for the next game.
You may, Mike. Which pair would you like to go to?
I'd like to go to 49 and 50 for the next game. It's going to be Tommy Jones, AJ Johnson, and Francois Lavoie.
Michael, that sounds like a pair of U.S. Open champions that we're going to watch next game.
Oh, it's a pair, all right. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to go to this pair is for AJ Johnson. He's at plus 449 now, but he just opened in the 10th frame coming off his last pair. Plus, I kind of feel like these three guys can work together quite a bit. And we saw that through qualifying. The pairs that could kind of work together. Barnes talked about it being able to bowl with Martin Larson.
And I believe a fun fact, Francois and AJ actually drew the same pair during the first 3 rounds, or the same qualifying group along with Nathan Bohr. So they've gotten to see the lanes together the same way all week so far here at the NBS.
Great observation.
$196 for Zeke. Open in the 10th. Tough way to end it there for Toby. $219. He's going to get to plus 316. So we will make that change here momentarily. Give us a sec, folks.
Concludes game 4, going to game 5. Please begin.
All right, Aaron. I'm feeling kind of game-like here. Let's set the over-under for these 3 players this game at 680.
680. All right.
Pretty big score out there. Begging people to take the under. That's not a good start. Tommy Jones throwing urethane outside. A little trip 4. So is this bear hook more for these guys? You saw Francois go right through the face. I don't think it was a really good shot. And Tommy goes high. Could have left a 4-pin or a fast 8 there very easily, but trips the 4, gets the break. So we get a chance to see AJ Johnson here. Will he go high, just like his other 2 counterparts? You also saw Francois kind of move his arms around a little bit as if he needed to get loose. They haven't thrown a ball for a little bit here, waiting to go into this next game. Oh, AJ was way left of target. Crosses over and goes Brooklyn. Very interesting start for these 3 players. All right, Frankie on the board now. That one looks pretty pure. Leave it 10. Don't forget, everyone, we're looking to get the 36 bowlers down to 24. Our cut line heading into the last game was Chris Via plus 375. We'll have a game number 4 update here shortly for you. Frankie with a double. Question in the chat here. I don't know if the guys covered it or not, but is Andrew Nair the lefty Anthony Nair's son? Yes, he is. I also see the request to take a look at Chris Vai's jersey. We will definitely have an opportunity to do that here in a little bit. also a comment from Roger in here about when I was talking about AJ Johnson potentially being in a frying opportunity sometime this week, or just a lot of emotions brought up. Chris Collins is a very emotional player on tour for many years.
Yeah, he had some epic volcanic moments on tour, but he was actually the nicest guy. Still is, I'm sure. But yeah, I mean, this game can bring out the worst in you. It can be awfully frustrating at times. But I really think that's part of something AJ Johnson has to get over. Just getting a sense of calm when he gets in stressful situations. I think that's part of the reason we haven't seen him win just yet. And he was in a bit of a stressful situation yesterday and was able to hang in there and make the cut. Now he's in great shape. But he has to, when he gets in those situations, I think he has to remind himself of how much firepower he has, and if he could just get through the tough moments, because nobody ever wins a tournament by bowling great, having nothing bad happen to them for a whole week, and never having to move your feet. I mean, you're always being tested to the limits. And then throw in the fact that you've got to beat the best bowlers in the world. Being able to calm yourself and perform your best when you need it is maybe the most important quality when it comes to winning on tour. And I know AJ works at it very hard. He reads books and talks to people who are experts, on that side of the game, and it's something that he's working on. And I think once he figures it out, it's going to be bad news for the rest of the players out here on tour.
Definitely a future face of the tour.
Yeah, and he should take solace in knowing some of the past history of some of the great players out here on tour. Norm Duke won his first title in 1983 and didn't win again until 1991. So he went 8 years in the early part of his career without winning a title. And he had a lot of success in that time, but people measure you by how many times you raise the trophy. And Norm obviously figured it out, and now he's one of the all-time greatest winners in the history of the sport. Not everybody can be like this guy, Tommy Jones, and just run off 12 titles in 3 years when you're just a tyke. Before you even know that's something you shouldn't be doing.
You could almost make the argument, JT, that it's a blessing to have Tommy Jones on tour right now with us, because there was a period of time and a stretch of a few years there where he was battling injuries, wasn't 100%, wasn't making enough money on tour to really make a living, and he could have gone elsewhere. He could have taken a job in the industry. He could have found something else to do with his life, but he stuck through it and stuck with it. And once he started getting himself more healthy and figuring out a few things, we've seen a resurgence of Tommy Jones again. And as a fan of bowling, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you one quick story on Tommy is I've always known what a great player he is, but until you watch somebody bowl up close and personal, and on tour you can kind of see it, but you're also seeing 150 of the other top bowlers, so sometimes it's easy to miss. But we brought Tommy out for a DVD shoot for Mark Baker's the System DVD, and Tommy was one of the players who was featured in that series. And we had a bowling center, Fountain Bowl in Fountain Valley, California, where we had the center to ourselves for the night, and we got to basically ask Chris Barnes and Tommy Jones to do a bunch of things, to show off for the camera. And we asked Tommy to do something and asked him basically to just throw a bunch of strikes. And he threw about 18 in a row. And then we asked him to leave a 2-pin. And on command, he did that. Then we asked him to leave a flat 10. On command, he did that. And just watching, the control that he had and how hard his ball was able to hit, it just made me appreciate how great of a player he is. Another interesting story about Tommy. Mark Baker worked with Tommy and also with Chris Barnes, and he said the difference between Tommy and Chris Barnes is Tommy could throw a 15-bagger, then miss, look at Mark and say, okay, I'm good. Whereas Chris would throw a 15-bagger and miss and want to know why he missed on the 16th shot. Ryan Robinson shooting a big game, and he needs it. He's a little bit behind the cut number, but he could shoot 279 this game. Jacob Buttriff getting back on track. He could shoot 258 this game. Brent Boho with a spare 7-bagger. So he's been a big story all week, and he's kind of fallen back just a little bit the last day and a half, but bowling a big game here. And if he can finish this one off, he'll be in the top 24 with just a few games left to go.
Guys, I stepped away for a second. We have a score update. Have we gotten the chance to run those down yet?
Not yet. That's we left that on the table for you.
Oh, you guys are so nice. Jacob Buttriff continues to lead, plus 717, but now moving into second place. Anthony Nyer, plus 627. Sam Cooley drops to third, plus 609. We talked about Michael Davidson, big 279 last game. Moves into fourth, plus 595. Jesper Svensson, plus 570. That's your top 5. Also in the top 10 at the moment, Zach Tackett, plus 568. Mitch Hoope, plus 560. Tim Foy Jr. continuing to move. His second game north of 260, plus 559. Matt Sanders, plus 544. And Nick Pate rounds out the top 10 at plus 543. The cut number, Mikey Tang, plus 407. 407, your current number. Players back at the moment, Zeke Pate, plus 405. Brett Boho, plus 397. And then a bit of a jump, Richie Teese at plus 364. And Sean Rash and Brian Robinson at plus 338.
Yeah, Sean Rash going in the wrong direction, guys. Opens up 278, 234, then bowls 178, 181. How quickly it can go away. Now finds himself 59 pens, is that right? 59?
Yeah, we still got a possible 250 this game. So, it's just transition and how you manage it and how you bounce back from it once you hit it. Bill O'Neill shooting a big game here. He can shoot 268 with a couple of strikes in the 10th. Jacob will be in the 240s this game. 247 for Jacob. Sam Cooley putting together another big game. Cooley can shoot 279 with the strike on his fill ball. And Zach Tackett with a big game as well. Although this is kind of a crazy game. Double, gutter 9, then 7-bagger, 8-bagger now. So he's going to shoot 258 with a gutter 9 in the third frame. All the rest strikes.
Francois posts 197 up on the board. Not the game he was looking for there by any means. He struggled a little bit on this pair. A little more of a touch player, playing the speed game, giving a little bit of room and not working well, going high several times. AJ Johnson and Tommy Jones taking a straighter approach with urethane. Tommy can bowl 247. AJ can bowl 247. So I set the over-under at this game at 680. So 247 and 247 would give us, I believe that's 994 over. Minus 3 puts us at 91 over. We got a chance to hit it on the nose, Aaron Smith?
I think that's in play. If what do you say if Tommy gets the fill ball and AJ strikes out? We're at plus 91, correct?
Yeah.
Now plus 90. So if AJ doesn't strike and spares, that would be exactly 80 over, I believe. 46, 37, 97.
Oh my goodness. Aaron Smith, you're not going to believe this.
What's that, Michael?
I don't need a calculator to add this up. $46, 37 equals 83, minus 3, 680. On the nose. All bets are a push.
It was a wise time not to play the half.
If it was Baccarat, everybody would have bet the tie. 8-1.
All right, game 5 in the books here. 49 and 50. We'll take a look around, see if anyone else is finishing up. Zeke Bate going to be in the 260s this game.
I'm going to call out another pair here for the next game.
All righty.
47 and 48.
47 and 48. Who's going to be over there, Mike?
Jason Sterner, Martin Larson, and Bill O'Neill.
All right. We can make that happen.
I almost don't want to set an over-under on this next pair, Aaron.
We will get the camera switched up here momentarily to 47-48.
Yeah, they haven't started bowling yet, so we're all good. JT's almost there. Sterner's 566 over, Martin Larson's 214 over, and Bill O'Neill's 549 over. So this pair actually bowling better, except for Martin. I'm gonna go 661 this game. 661 for these three players. Over under 661. Those of you in the chat that would like to play along, type in what you think. 661 over or under, or I guess you could also bet tie.
Mike is 1 for 1, and I'm guessing the pair score so far today.
I mean, on the nose, Aaron.
Batting 1,000. Folks are liking the over in the chat, Mike.
I know they are. And I set that line that low for a reason. That's the kind of stuff I do at home when I'm watching Bowl TV, when I'm watching you guys broadcast. I spend a lot of time thinking about things like that. Oh, okay. Sterner, Larson, O'Neill, three good players. What are they going to bowl between the three of them?
It's like your own mini trios tournament on top of the U.S. Open. But the real question is, what would they shoot if they know we have set a line for them for this game? Would they work together? Even more so.
Yeah, I'm going to have you do a little research for me here, Aaron, because I'm lazy compared to you. Could you tell me Martin Larson's scores thus far today?
Thus far today. Let's see what I can find for you here. His scores for the first four games were 169, 199, 226, and 190. So he was 784 after 4. Let's see if I can find out what that last game was.
Yeah, the thing I don't really understand here is Martin struggling today. You know, he looked rock solid all through qualifying with Barnes. He looked really confident. I know we're catching him here, you know, further along in his block, and I'm really analyzing his game because he's on our feature pair, and you know, we're in game number 6 already. But I would think if I walked in the building and realized that I was bowling with Bill O'Neill and Jason Sterner, a couple other guys that I can work with and talk to a little bit about what the lanes are doing pair to pair, and everybody use urethane, I kind of feel like that's a good cross, and I expect a lot out of Martin Larson today, and I'm really surprised as to why he's had such a rough day.
He was at 943 for 5 games, so he went 159 in the previous game.
Really surprising to me. Especially with Sterner and O'Neill crushing him. Bill O'Neill bowled 228, 235, 239, 202. Sterner 212, 215, 279, 239. So coming on strong here, and both of these guys just got tremendous ball reactions on 47 and 48. JT just put his cans on. JT, you had left. I know you were working on assignment on a few other things, but just because every time you've got something right this week, you've brought it up and made sure you rubbed it in our faces. I just wanted to let you know that the last game I said they would bowl 680 is the over-under, and they bowled 680 on the nose.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah.
I set it at 661 this game for 47 and 48. We're watching Sterner, Larson, and Bill O'Neill.
Okay, that's good stuff. I mean, really, we've had a pretty good week of predictions. You know, other than the prediction on the cut number yesterday, that was pretty woeful. But yeah, there's been some pretty good prognostication going on this week. And you know, if you decided, you know, this bowling thing wasn't for you, you could probably stick around in town and become an odds maker. I've been pretty impressed with the lines you've been setting on, you know, over under on 300 games, and you know, that's been pretty impressive.
The book would have made a lot of money yesterday on that 300 prop bet.
Oh yeah.
Another thing that happened in the building here, just on Bill O'Neill, after he threw that messenger on the last one, he came up, sought me out, looked directly into my eyes, and then flexed his right bicep at me. I don't know if that's because he was watching the broadcast and he knows I'm the Black Cloud, and he's going to do it this game for all the bowlers in the tournament. He's going to totally, you know, ixnay this Black Cloud situation. But he and Sterner are looking to do it with the double-headed dragon here. Chris Barnes has the first 5 down on 35 and 36. Also, Aaron, and Kim Bolaby has the front 4 down on 31 and 32. Aaron, you know when you watch a PBA broadcast and a player's already kind of got it locked up and the other player fast tracks through just to get out of the way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of getting the same feeling from Martin Larson here with as much time as he's taken on the approach and his start to the day. And I see him hunched over right now. I don't know if he's nursing an injury or if he's stiff or if it's just, you know, frustration setting in. If one of the Storm ball reps walks by, I may ask about Martin Larson, because this is just shocking to me that he's not bowling better this morning with this cross.
A few folks in the chat speculating that as well. Maybe as Bill makes it 7 in a row.
Yeah, Bill's bringing it here.
6 in a row.
Yeah, front 6. He's bringing it. I think he's going to take this whole black cloud thing away. He's tired of it. Barnes and Bolaby have both missed. You mentioned earlier, Aaron Smith, an MVP of the 2 weeks between the U.S. Open and the Masters. Well, there's one guy on this pair that I think definitely deserves to be in the top 5.
I think I know who you're talking about. And it's this gentleman who's stepping up on lane 48 right now.
Sure is. Jason Sterner.
Even more so with the injury to the hand. After a long day through the elimination bracket at the Masters to make the TV show. Just said, sign me up for 56 more games.
Yeah, and a full day of practice sessions also. A lot of people don't think about how many additional games are bowled during those 4 practice sessions over 4 different oil patterns.
Got an update after 5 here. Jacob Buttroff continues to lead, plus 764. Sam Cooley second, plus 684. Anthony Nair, plus 630. Zach Tackett, plus 626. Jesper Svensson, plus 592. Your top 5. Moving down to the cut. A tie for 23rd, Brent Boho. And Tommy Jones at plus 456. Packy, 1 pin ahead of them. As is Thomas Larson, plus 457. Players just outside the number, Mikey Tang, plus 430. Brian Robinson, who had 279 that last game, plus 417. Richie Teese, plus 389. Chris Vi, plus 388.
Chris Barnes working on another big game, possible 263. He'll be going into the 9th frame. He's down on 35 and 36. Zeke Bate with a possible 259. Chris Vi, possible 279 this game. Yeah, he's badly in need of it. Looks like Danielle McEwen's run will come to an end here at the 2021 U.S. Open. A lot of folks have been speculating about what's going on with Danielle. She had a great start to the Kickoff Classic and then kind of had one of the most shocking miscuts we've seen in a while in that second event, and then had a little bit of a rough go on the PBA Junior show and at the Masters as well. But looks like everything's starting to get back together for her. She did have an injury she was dealing with an accident where she dropped some bowling balls on her push-off foot. So she's been using a regular athletic shoe instead of her usual bowling shoe on that foot. And she said her foot's been doing much better. And I think her performance here at the U.S. Open shows that she's bounced back and she's ready to get the PWBA Tour underway when we start up April 22nd.
I had a chance to go down and talk to Tim Mack a little bit about Martin Larson, and no physical ailments reported whatsoever. Although, if you look on your screen, he's constantly grabbing his neck and upper back area. So keep in mind, Martin Larson was hit by a car not too long ago and took a while to recover from that. So all speculation on our part up here in the booth. But again, just surprising to me that Martin Larson hasn't had a bigger day bowling with these two guys. The other thing to think about too, and I know bowling equipment comes into play a lot as well. A lot of people like to talk about the bowling balls, but Sterner and O'Neill both throwing purple hammers. And I heard a little rumblings as I walked around about that purple ball. A lot of players in the purple ball. And I remember earlier in this block, JT, you talked about Barnes saying he didn't think that the right-handers needed to be throwing urethane. But now mid-block, and as we get in towards the later stages of the block, we've seen a perfect demonstration of two guys here that are inside the top 10, 7th and 10th currently right now with O'Neill and Sterner, both using urethane from out, and Martin Larson trying to find a ball reaction with reactive resin.
Yeah, this is a game about who can knock the most pins down. And there's a lot of ways to do it. You can throw it left-handed, you can throw it right-handed, you can throw it two-handed, you can, push it down a ramp if you're, if you've got, physical issues. There's so many ways that you can score in this game. And you've got to do what you think is the best in order to score. And, I think Aaron Smith might have the best perspective on this. Aaron Smith, former blackjack dealer. You can sit at that table and complain about what the other players on the table are doing in terms of hitting and, hey, you took my card. But at the end of the day, you've got to play your own hand. And you've got to try to score as best as you can.
Oh, JT, you opened up a can of worms with that one. So many scenarios. I'm going to go to one of my favorite movies of all time, Swingers. Great flick. Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn. You always double down on 11. Always. But yes, it's and then obviously you have the scene later where the lady hits on 17 and gets to the 21, and Jon Favreau clapping. He shouldn't have been clapping. That was wrong. But yes, at the end of the day, you have to make those decisions for yourself. Think about a 16. Some folks hit on every 16. Some will never hit a 16. And whether or not a 5 comes up next and helps you or hurts you, you got to deal with it.
Yeah, and Chris Barnes has to deal with the fact that there's players who are throwing urethane, and he's got to find a way to score, because that's just what's happening right now. And there are players that are throwing urethane that are scoring fantastically. Jason Sterner just shot 265 there, and we are awfully late in the block, and it's still working. Bill O'Neill with a good solid game here, even though he and didn't finish it off at like he would have hoped, but 245 for him. So this is a game about trying to get your score any way you possibly can. Christian Escona, another great example. He just shot another 258 game here to put him at plus 610, and he's thrown urethane all day. So
2 updates for you guys. I set the over-under on this game at 661. They crushed it at 702. Second thing for you, Aaron Smith, in regards to your blackjack comment, you always double down on 11. I'm going to present a situation where I want to see if this is still the correct call. Let's say you're playing a progressive betting system where you're going 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So you bet 1 if you win, then you bet 1, and then if you win, you bet 2, and if you win, then you bet 3, you pull 1 back. Then if you bet 5, then you pull 1 back if you win. You bet 8, you win. Then you're up to 12 unit bet. Then you're up to a 20 unit bet. You're up to like a 35 unit bet. Then you're up to like let's just say like a 60 unit bet, right? So if it's a $10 unit, now you got $600 up on the line. You're on this huge run. You've won multiple hands in a row. And at this point in time, you got a lot of profit in front of you. You got $600 up as your bet at the blackjack table. You get 11. The dealer shows a 10. Do you take money out of your pocket because you're not bankrolled enough to double down with the $600, and you're on this huge run already, to where if something bad happens here, all that winnings you just did is all thrown by the wayside. Plus, you took additional money out of your pocket. Is it still the rule is to double down on 11 in that situation, Aaron?
Well, great question, Mike, as we're in the middle of the game here. Well, first off, based off your progressive system, I feel you'd have more than $1,200 total at that point, unless you're betting the 600, or if that's all of it, if you're playing at a dollar table or something like that. But obviously, if you're pulling money out of your pocket, that's a whole different story, and that would be an individual's choice. If it's me, however, and I got to that, and somehow I was betting more than half of my stack, and I got 11. That much, 100% yes. Wouldn't think twice about it.
Really? You still double down on the 11?
Still double down.
So no matter what type of progressive betting system you're trying to play, no matter how big of a run you're on, you still gamble. You still do it.
Absolutely. That's me, though. I'm not telling anyone this is going to work. I never said that. And trust me, it doesn't work all the time. Because I've been there on both sides of it as a player and as a dealer. You don't get very friendly stares when you turn over a 4 on an 11 when you're showing a 10.
Hey, this is a great reminder whenever you come to Reno for your bowling events here at the National Bowling Stadium. Make sure you check out the El Dorado, the Circus, the Silver Legacy casinos, and try these betting systems that Aaron Smith is telling you will work every single time.
Please don't.
And we'll pay for your entire trip.
Oh, goodness. Tangents every once in a while.
You probably want to know what pair I want to go to, don't you?
That would be lovely, sure.
60... I want to go to 65 and 66 range. 63 and 64 maybe it is. 65 and 6, actually.
65 and 6? Okay. All right. 65 and 6 it is.
Although we did right there just get a look at Chris Vai's jersey that I was talking about earlier, so we do need to cover him at some point. But 65 and 6. Chris Barnes, Mikey Tang, Nick Pate, 3 more guys that I believe can play off of each other and have probably been doing so a lot during this block. Mikey Tang's number 405.
And I believe, let's see. So he dropped last game because he was the first player out at plus 430 heading into last game. So
175. So Mikey Tang with 2 to play needs a big game here. Aaron, we do also have that secondary pair with Vi, Hanrahan, and McEwen.
Mm-hmm.
I did see somebody in the chat wanting to see Chris Vi's jersey after the comment I made earlier. So at some point during this match, if we could peek in over there for just a little bit, that would be great. So.
On that pair, Packy Hanrahan at plus 503, Vi at plus 467. So he's right in the mix of that number as well. Danielle McEwen a little bit farther back, plus 265.
Oh, people are asking me in the chat, what's the line on this game? My bad. All right, let's see. I'm going to go with the exact same score as last game, 661. $661 the over-under on these three players, Tang, Pate, and Barnes. I'm glad to see everybody's kind of liking this. Joe Engelkiss in the chat says Nick Pate here. And there's an inside joke with that. Whenever I see Nick Pate on a live stream, I always say, oh, Nick Pate here. Because I had to do a video shoot with Columbia 300 years ago with Nick Pate. And it's the first time he's ever been on camera for a bowling ball video shoot. And, you know, we kind of wing these things a little bit with, you know, the player intros and how they intro themselves. And every single video we did it for 3 separate balls. Nick started out with, Nick Pate here for Columbia 300. Nick Pate here. Nick Pate here. So it's just kind of stuck.
Was that in Baton Rouge?
It was actually, yeah. I actually made Nick Pate run outside by the Riverwalk or whatever it is there while I flew a drone behind him. And I kept telling these guys, it was him and Wesley Lowe, Cameron Doyle, and Kyle Sherman. And I made them run. And they're like, I messed with them a little bit. I said, hey, I didn't get a good drone shot that time of you running. I need you to do it again. And I thought, hey, I need you to do it again. It was almost like in the movie Miracle when Herb Brooks keeps telling the team out on the ice, again.
Mike Flanagan is the Stanley Kubrick of bowling video production. Stanley Kubrick drove many actors insane by doing 50 takes, and the 51st he would say, do it again, and the actor would say, do you have any feedback for me? No, let's do it again. Well, what about that last take? It was great. Why do you need it again? Just do it again.
All right, Mike, that presents an additional follow-up question. As you talked about that experience, who is the best bowler to work with for a video?
Oh, wow. Well, I can tell you the best person to work with on a video who technically is a bowler is Randy Peterson.
He's technically a bowler.
Well, I think Aaron Smith meant, you know, like, hey, if you're going to go shoot a ball video today, who would you want to go shoot with? Who's the best one to work with? And I don't think Randy Peterson fits that question because he's a commentator right now. But Randy Peterson is fantastic. Bill O'Neill is pretty great to work with. Kyle Sherman, for obvious reasons, he's gotten very comfortable in front of the camera and can pretty much pull off anything now. Mike Shady is incredible to work with on instructional videos. He nails it every time.
I'll even throw in Shannon O'Keefe. She's always been pretty good with the stuff we do on PWBA.
She is indeed. We shot a video at like 1 a.m. at West Park Bowl in Illinois with her and Jordan Richard in this challenge match, and neither one of them had an issue whatsoever with staying late and getting all the takes right and hamming it up. And both of those two were great to work with. I worked with Jordan and Haley Richard on a goofy cooking video shoot one time.
The hot sauce.
Yeah, for the sauce bowling ball. And they were peaches to work with. Cameron Doyle was fun to work with when we reversed him to be a left-hander and said that was his brother Dick Doyle. One of the most underrated ball videos I think I've ever made. It didn't do real well.
Well, I'm glad you did say Randy Peterson, because anybody who's willing to rub peanut butter all over their naked body for a video, you would have to put at the top of your list, right?
I had some involvement in that one as well. That was a team of people. I wasn't even on set that day, but that was another good one. Making ball videos is hard because there's so many balls and there's only so many boards on a lane, and you can't make the next one hook one more board more, because once you have 40 balls, you can't say it anymore. But look, all the manufacturers really make amazing products. They have such great R&D teams and then manufacturing processes, and we're really blessed to have such a great group of manufacturers in the bowling industry.
Hey, Mike, we switched pairs here. We're looking at Packy and Chris and Danielle. So I want you to break down this Chris Vi jersey for us.
Yeah, this is just a jersey that I would have no problem wearing out on a date night or, going to a black tie affair. I mean, if you look at the design, it looks really nice, and he never really messes up the color schemes with these as well. It's hard to see, but his name is on the back. It's in white on a nice light gray with some black stripe accents. And we'll get to see it from the front as well.
If Chris Vi's bowling career doesn't pan out, he could very easily become a fashion model.
Absolutely. I would say he and Nick Crummell and perhaps A.J. Johnson, the three of them together.
Absolutely.
See, look at this jersey. I mean, it's just a gorgeous looking jersey. He's got it going on right there, I got to say.
Well, he's always got the perfect hair, right? Perfect hair. His pants are always, the right size, unlike, myself, who wears 14 sizes too big. His shoes are always clean and polished. Always has a nice watch, which I'm a big fan of. I like the watch thing.
I learned that this week.
His belts always match his shoes. It's just he's impeccable.
The only criticism I have for Vi is he's a little stiff. To the line, and I don't know if it's because of his muscle mass or what it is, but I'd like to see a little Brian Voss looseness in his game, and then I think he would be the perfect player.
But as for going back to him, the fashion model side, you want to be a little stiff. You want to be a little very, very solid posture.
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
Yeah. So I think, again, if the bowling thing doesn't work out, I'll be his agent. I'd be happy to represent him, get him some headshots, and start booking him on some modeling gigs.
I wonder if he'd let us put a book on top of his head on the way to the line, see if it would fall off with perfect posture.
I don't think it would. I think it would stay.
So we know he's a talented bowler, and we know that he knows how to have style and design jerseys. And we've established in some sort of way here that he's an attractive man. The other thing that we didn't talk about is what a fantastic human being he is as well. So he's kind of a 5-tool bowler. I guess the only other thing he needs to do is be able to throw it back up as good as he throws it regular.
Well, Mike, this 5-star athlete currently is the cut here at the U.S. Open through 30 games. Plus 467 is the number. So this front 6 start, humongous for Vi. First player out of the cut, 5 pins back, 2-time champ Francois Lavoie, plus 462. Brian Robinson at plus 441. Richie Teese at plus 435. Michael Tang at plus 405. Just ahead of the cut number, Perry Crowell plus 470. Brett Boho plus 472. Tommy Jones plus 481. AJ Johnson plus 491. Sean Lavery Spar plus 494. Zeke Bate plus 500. Buttriff continues to lead plus 810. Sam Cooley plus 699 in second. Anthony Nair at third, 645. Zach Tackett, 641. Jason Sterner, 631.
Some folks in the chat also believe that Michael Davidson is another one that could be in our modeling group.
Yeah, I'll represent him as well.
And I knew this topic wouldn't be a slam dunk with all of our viewership here. So to those of you that are like, let's move on with this, I see ya.
Bill O'Neill shooting another big game, possible 279. And guys, I'll tell you what, Zeke Bake with the front 8 here. Matt Russo shooting 270. Michael Davidson having a big game. Perry Crowell with the front 6. Doesn't seem to be a lot of difficulty navigating transition right now at this point, which pretty much I think means we're going to see a pretty high scoring pace the rest of the tournament.
Yep, good observation there, JT.
So now pair bowlers with the front 8. We'll go back and forth here on Bull TV, folks, on our main commentary channel. But if you want to watch one specifically, Zeke Bate on our 39 to 42 channel, Chris Vi on our 45 to 48 channel.
And don't forget Perry on 69 and 70 with the front 7.
Perry just ahead of the number. We mentioned Chris was the number. Zeke about 30 pins ahead of both of them. Imagine 2 days ago, this cut number was plus 90.
That is crazy to think about that. Well, if he gets this one here, it looks like I'm going to have to leave the broadcast and go down and take care of some work here, guys.
Zeke for 9. The subtle fist pump. Subtle. Zeke, I like it. Let's see if Chris Vi can match the feet here.
What a perfect time to talk about him, too. Sitting here on the front 8, looking for 9.
The shirt bridged the gap to the scoring update, to the cut, to the front 8, to potentially the front 9. It was the perfect segue. We're in business, folks.
Holding, lane 46. Chris Vi. 10-yard penalty, front 9.
So we'll do our best to go back and forth here. JT can see into the future and can tell us if anyone is going to not be up at the proper time. Once again, keeping an eye on Perry. He's just through 8, though.
The chat imploring Mike Flanagan not to go down onto the lanes.
I don't think this is going to work after all the incredible things he said about Chris Vi. I'm calling it.
Incredible. Well,
the clouds have parted here. I'm going to call it.
The one line that Mike did not set after the first round yesterday was the cut for the top 24 being 500 over. I think we would have gotten a lot of unders on that one.
We'll start with Chris here. Looking for 10, then we'll go to Zeke, who's ready to step up on the approach. We got 10. We got 10. To 41 and 42. Russo. Chance to get to 270. But Zeke Bate looking to match the effort. Oh, let's go. Back to Vi. Crowell's got 9.
How about that? No 300s for the whole tournament, and then we get 3 in one game.
Gotta love it. Can he make it 11? Bingo. Chris Vi. Cut number heading into game at 31 of 32 to head into match play. Front 11. Let's go back to Zeke. Russo finished off the 270. Zeke at plus 500. Looking for 11. Uh-oh. Not going to get it. Going to have himself a nice game.
For a Chris Vi, young man.
Your time to shine. For the first 300 at the 2021 U.S. Open. Can you do it, Chris Vi? We're on the board. Chris Vi.
You better believe it, he did it.
Chris
A
Vi.
perfect 300 game for Chris Vi.
Congratulations to Chris.
Nice Dave Ryan homage there.
We're just in time for Perry here. How about that? Oh, you saw Sean. You saw Sean making the move over there. Imploring.
Get away.
Imploring Michael. No.
Get away.
Let the man have it.
Well, Sean doesn't know that the string is broken. The black cloud has been lifted.
So do you need to make a photo now of Mike with like the clouds parting so we can run that now?
Yes.
Over the black cloud? Let's see if Perry can keep it going. Looking for 10. Oh, make him dance, Perry. Perry Crowell's day, 187, 185 to start, has bounced back nicely. 211, 254, 212, 208. Once again, he was just 3 pins ahead of Vi in 23rd place into the 280s. Going to make a big jump here. Perry Crowell looking for 11. Let's go. Made the show last year at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Finished 4th. Now looking for extended play once again. With just 1 game left to go. make the jump to plus 570 and collect the second 300 game in the matter of minutes here in Game 7. One was so nice. Can we make it 2? Perry Crowell for 300. Oh, 296. The 300 would have been nice, but Perry knows humongous game for the top 60 or 24. 64 was last week.
But we can officially say that
There we go.
it's now lifted.
There he is.
The cloud has been lifted. Look at that smile. Look at that smile on his face. So happy.
All right, folks, that's the type of excitement, the type of energy we needed right there. Chris Vi on the cut, shoots 300. Perry Crowell, 296. So they did what they had to do. Brent Boho also had a big game. He was just ahead of them, 257. Zeke finished with 287. Wasting no time getting into our final game here, our tournament leader, Jacob Buttroff, Matt Sanders, and Brian Robinson. Once we have a look at the cut number, we will begin to determine our scenarios and start running back and forth here on a couple of channels. But our first chance to look at Buttroff today. Looks like he's at plus 858. Brian Robinson at plus 416. I believe 638 for Matt Sanders. So that game, 24th place, Chris Vi, plus 467, shoots 300. Perry Crowell, 23rd place, plus 470, shoots 296. Brent Boho, 22nd place, plus 472, shoots 257. So we'll have to take a look and see what this new number will be at.
Yeah, it's a little rough when the two guys on the number go 296, 300. For the chasers. Makes it a little tough.
for the chasers and the folks just ahead of them as well. Y'all, all of a sudden,
yeah, it's going to be exciting. This match play is setting up to be super fun. We're seeing good scores late in the block. It's going to be wild, this match play. I have no idea what's going to happen. As much as I say that I do and win bets against you guys on TV, I have no idea. This is your chance to maybe claw back some of those winnings that you guys have been losing all the last 2 weeks.
We're desperate for dubs here, JT.
It's time to press. Time to press the bets. I'm sure Michael Flanagan will devise some sort of complicated final series of things for us to prognosticate going into this top 24 match play, which gets underway tonight starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Did that change?
Sorry, what time was 5 p.m.?
It was 5 p.m. I was just making sure.
5 p.m. Yes.
That was going to be a good scare. So an extra hour to prep.
A good scare.
Jacob is not having fun here.
We scare because we care. Yeah, you don't want to go into the break with a low game here with the collective field kind of breathing down your neck. It really feels like we've mentioned this before, but the players are seeing the finish line and they're making big efforts to try to get themselves either in or positioned better for the top 24 coming up tonight.
Funny thing mentioned last night, I saw Mark in the chat post that we talked to Brian Robinson, and in joking, we mentioned Perry Crowell's run to the TV show, how he, to make the top 36, had to win a roll-off against Walter Ray Williams Jr. Kind of took things from there. Brian winning the roll-off against Spencer Robarge to earn his spot in the top 36. Depending on what the number changed to, potentially, more than likely, would need a massive game here to maybe put himself in position once again. We're watching right here, looking for 5. But looking at a 3-6-10 now. The face of the brand. Good guy there, Brian Robinson. B-Rob.
Yeah, and it looks like he struggled a little bit last game and shot 177. So, yeah, I mean, maybe if he goes off the sheet, he's got a chance, but it's not looking good with those big games that the guys on the number bowled last game. But it sure was fun to watch last night, and he's a fun guy to interview too.
Very much so.
I actually did run into Spencer and his mom on the way back to the hotel last night, and he was pretty tuckered out. He definitely was proud of his performance at the Masters and here this week, but he wanted to be bowling here today. So think we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge his run here this past week and a half. And I'm sure he's looking forward to getting back out and bowling against the best in the world again after graduating high school and getting his collegiate career off to a start.
.240s will probably not be enough there. JT, while we wait for this update, anybody on a pair that's kind of in that upper 400, low 500 range?
Yeah, definitely. Thomas Larson fighting for his life, and Brent Boho on 55 and 6. They're both at plus 529. That would be interesting to follow. AJ Johnson and Francois Lavoie are on 59 and 60. They both need big games.
All right, we'll make that switch in just a second. We'll show you some more bowling as we do that. Take a quick look at Boy and Ascona.
I really like what Ascona's been doing here today. He's slow hooking urethane. Him and Belmo are really the two guys that have been doing that, and that's working. I don't see them changing that strategy coming into match play for later tonight. So there's definitely going to be some urethane going down the lane tonight and some reactive. And the way that the players that are throwing urethane are doing it, for the most part, is from left. So that should make the lanes a little bit easier. Should give the righties some hold, and then the players that are throwing to the right with reactive should burn up some spots. And assuming these pairs stay fairly blended, there could be some huge scores on the right side.
All right, just like that. We got a score update. AJ Johnson, the cut number at the moment, plus 484. Francois Lavoie, first player out at plus 456. Richie Teese at plus 430. So AJ Johnson and Francois on the same pair.
And Tommy as well, who's at plus 505.
Woo! This is picking up.
And Matt Russo at 415, he's putting a huge game together while the guys he's chasing are struggling. Lavoie is in the 180s this game. TJ on a 2-0 pace. AJ on a 2-teen pace. Richie Teese not doing much this game. 190 pace through 6. Tang can shoot 250, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So Matt Russo still with an outside shot here. If he were to go off the sheet, he could get to 495.
section, Lavoie, Johnson, and Jones, who are 23, 24, and 25 in the standings. Russo kind of the last player. When you look at that, down to 29 within within a potential range. After that, it drops to plus 386 Kim Bowlby. So anyone below that, more than likely out of it. Bowlby would need them all. Russo can get to 258. Brian Robinson, 224 max. He's not going to get there. Mentioned Richie Teese, his max score 227. .226 still out there for Francois. Tommy gets the first one. It's going to put him into the 2 O's. AJ Johnson max at 236. Sean Lavery Sparrows at plus 523. He's clean so far this game without a double. Mikey Tang can get to 257. That would put him into the plus 470 range. .226 for Frankie. Puts him at 482. So that's not going to be enough to get to AJ outside of just incredible, crazy count here. So AJ should stay ahead here. This first shot, we'll go over to Boho and Larson after this. All right, I think AJ's going to be good. Both of these guys at 5.29 over. Boho's going to be in the 170s. That was a big 3-6-10 conversion. There's our Masters champ. He should be in a good spot as well. Quite a few Stone Cold fives this week. Brent's going to be at 504.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the number.
I think so. He's going to.
Just going to sneak in.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, he's going to get the full U.S. Open experience, 56 games, baby.
Sean Lavery Spar has a split in frame number 9 over on 43 and 44. If he doesn't get it, he's in the 160s, but any type of mark in the 9th or 10th, he wouldn't fall below Boho. But I next up, from what I got, is 482 at Francois, so potentially just some jockeying of spots to start here, but initial thoughts plus 504.
And how about Chris Vi popping off a little 819 his last 3? Woo! Wow. We'll have Bill O'Neill in just a moment. He had a big day out on the lanes, moved himself up the leaderboard.
Yeah, Bill was all the way up to 4th.
Yeah, he bowled games of 228, 235, 239, 202, 267, 245, 279, and 207 the last game. And he's a former U.S. Open champion, no stranger to success in this event. He's made a number of other top 5s. So we'll get a chance to talk to him about his feelings heading into the match play and what he saw out there today and what he expects to see.
But before that, as we wait for Bill, folks, we almost let it slide by, but don't worry. We still have a giveaway to go here. We waited for the very end. Amazon Fire 7 tablet to give away. So we are going to get that going right now. So once again, you'll have a 60-second countdown. You'll see the prompt in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It'll say a giveaway will begin soon. Then you'll have another 45-second countdown after that, a new promo that will say the giveaway is underway. All you have to do is click submit entry. If you're watching on full screen, I believe it's best to take it out of that to make sure you can see the chat. So let's get it, folks. Let's get it. Amazon Fire 7 tablet. Good luck, everybody.
Well, Aaron, what are your initial thoughts? I know you haven't had a lot of time to think about it, but your initial thoughts of what we saw here today.
Well, I think all of our thoughts have changed based off of kind of what we were talking about earlier, as far as the lefties potentially running away with it. We saw a lot of scores from a lot of different varieties of right-handed players. Some who attack it a little more straight, some who have a little higher rev rate, a little lower rev rate. Saw a good mix of scores. So I don't think this event is as open and close as we may have originally thought starting today's block. So we'll see how much that changes. It'll be a little bit different. Obviously, with round robin match play, only 2 on a pair versus 3 head-to-head matches. So you're bowling someone different every match. So all that's going to come into play. But I think potentially a little bit more variety than we originally anticipated on this 42-foot condition.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I really feel like, the field bunched together today. You've got, basically everybody from 1 to 24 still with the chance to win the tournament here, especially with bonus pins and matches that will be played, and head-to-head round robin, 30 bonus pins per game. A lot of ground can be made up in a very short amount of time.
You guys bowl at reconditioned pairs of 4 call 415, bowl at 5.
And Bill O'Neill just arrived. And we're going to get a chance to talk to him right now. Bill, great bowling today, first off. Congratulations on making the finals. You're no stranger to success in this event, but what do you feel like it's going to take the rest of this week to take home your second U.S. Open title?
Yeah, just more bowling like I did today. I bowled pretty smart. Stayed within myself and stayed in my game, and I didn't try to chase it too far left. And when in the middle of the block, it started to not strike a little bit. Instead of trying to do something totally different, I just softened my hand up. And the last 3 or 4 games, it looked really good. If I just was really, really nice to it at the bottom, I didn't try to overhit it, because every time I tried to overhit it a little bit, if I got it right, it could go a little high. And if I got it in front of me, it would ring 10. So I just really tried to keep my hand really, really soft. And I think that's going to help me later on in this event too.
Bill, the initial impression of this pattern, and we talked about it a lot. We thought the left-handers might run away from the field a little bit. That was not the case here. What did you guys see on the right side that allowed a few of the players to really get comfortable and put up some big numbers?
Well, us the guys who are on with Hammerstaff and Team Brunswick, we can throw the purple hammer, and it's a really good ball for playing right at 10. When there's a little bit of friction in the front of the lane, around 3, 4, 5, we can manipulate that and create a lot of area. So that's what a lot of us did, and you could see some big scores when because we didn't really have to move our feet a whole lot. I was changing angles and grip pressure quite a bit, but I didn't really have to move around the lane too much. And if that stays the same for the next few blocks, then we have a chance to keep up with the lefties.
We saw Chris Vi come down the stretch the last 3 games and shoot 819. He was not throwing urethane; he was throwing reactive, and typically not a player that you'd think of as somebody who likes to go up the lane. But do you think that's going to change some of the players' strategies coming out for this top 24 round, with maybe seeing a little bit more reactive, or do you feel like you guys have kind of a good plan in mind in terms of the right-handers and the left-handers and how you want to play the lanes?
Yeah, I think it just comes down to each individual person and their comfort level with doing certain things. I think you can get score out there in multiple different ways, and I think that whatever you're most comfortable doing is what people are going to do. And if that means that Chris is hooking urethane a little bit or reactive a little bit, then that's what he'll do. And whatever you can do to control the pocket. And I think that that's what my game plan is. Just try to control the pocket, and in the pairs that are not striking a whole lot, then you just kind of hopefully bowl 2-0 or 2-teen and get out of there and bowl a big one the next one.
All right, Bill, we will let you get ready for match play coming up next. 8 more games today, and then 16 tomorrow, hopefully in the top 5 when it's all said and done. So thank you once again for joining us here on Bowl TV, and another great performance out there.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bill. All right, JT. I don't believe we've gotten the official number just yet, but we're pretty confident. Plus 504, Brent Boho will be the number to advance to the top 24 and get to round robin match play, which begins tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern time, right here on bowltv.com. We're not stopping. Can't stop, won't stop. bowling action on Bowl TV. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we learned a lot here today. I think if you were watching, it seemed like the prevailing wisdom, as you mentioned, was that the left side was really going to have a dominant day. That didn't happen. There are some lefties that are doing well, but there are a lot of righties that are doing equally well. And we saw the scores go up. We saw the scores taper off for a while. Then we saw them go back up again. But it felt like everybody in the field had a chance, and the scores are going to be pretty high. There's players that are going to be able to make big runs. There are players that may come from the bottom of the standings once we make this cut to the top 24 that can get to the show. And so there's so much more excitement left here at the U.S. Open, with 24 more games before we decide who will make it to the FS1 finals on Sunday.
Before we sign off, however, we must hear from Mike Flanagan, who has changed his ways and allowed Chris Vi to shoot 300.
Yes, I did, guys. I've got two updates for you here that I thought would be interesting to the viewers. Number one, Martin Larson did wake up with some extreme neck pain today. Took a lot of medication that he was allowed to take. Battled it the entire block. So there was something wrong with Martin Larson. The other thing was, I went and took a picture of Jacob Buttriff, and I asked him the question, how cool is it that you and Sam Cooley are bowling so well together? He goes, man, it's extra special to me because Sam's been living with me for almost 3 months. And the fact is, he and I have been practicing so much together, and he's taught me things about how to practice, and he's picked up some things from me about how I practice, and we've been able to perfect our practices together. And it's cool to see the hard work paying off for them guys. So pretty cool couple nuggets there for you.
That's awesome
and of course, both those guys lost their mothers recently, so they've had that to bond over as well. So it's a really, really cool story. But this might be the coolest, Mike. but Chris Vi, no more black cloud, Mike Flanagan. You're officially off the hook. You're
Microsoft
redeemed.
Paint.
You have been redeemed, my friend. Enjoy it.
I am. Thanks, guys. And thanks to all the viewers out there that watched that. I mean, it was so cool, just and a privilege to be here to call with you guys. And man, we're just getting started. The tournament starts now.
Absolutely. So with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Once again, check bowl.com/US Open for all the stats, the information, and more. 24 players left here at the US Open. We started with 108, 24 left, 24 games of round robin match play coming up, starting with the first 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Bowl TV. We'll be back for more giveaways, more everything here on Bowl TV. So for Matt Cannizzaro, Jason Thomas, Mike Flanagan, I'm Aaron Smith. We'll see you soon from Reno. And remember, folks, on Bowl TV, bowling lives here. We'll see you in a couple hours.